And welcome back to Music Free Static. I hope you're having a fabulous day. And, you know, I've made some changes in my life, okay? They're not major changes, but I've made changes, right? I grew a beard. Still growing a beard. It takes forever for me to grow a beard because I have a thin beard. But it's a change, okay? It's been like 20 years since I last had any sort of beard-like object. And I finally decided, hey, I'm tired of shaving. Let's do this thing. So, okay, it's a change. Um, I used to make a breakfast skillet. Yeah, every couple of weeks, I'd make up this big breakfast skillet, portion it out, throw it in the freezer, and I haven't been doing that lately. Instead, over the last few months, last couple of months anyway, I've I've instead been doing oatmeal with peanut butter and fruit, right? This morning was blueberries, but strawberries are actually like strawberries in it better. Plus, blueberries have a little bit more fructose in them than I can stand, I think, is just because my body hates fructose. Because, hey, there's a change I have to deal with in my diet. Because, hey, guess what? My body has decided that, yeah, fructose is not a thing that I should be eating anymore. Right? Now, why do I talk about this? Well, because I'm on a podcast. I have a podcast and I get to talk about things, and this is why. No, but I've been thinking about why, a little bit why we do things, but also why we don't change or why we do, and what's, it. I'm the type of guy, for example, who will use the same profile picture for 20 years. Okay, right? Something like that. For the longest time, my profile picture was just this hand drawn green smiley face, right? If you're in the Discord, it still exists as an emote, but that was my profile picture forever, right? And yeah, I saw no reason to change it. I have since I changed it to one of my emotes, but with my Minecraft character, right? But even that one's okay. It's there, and that will be my profile pic forever. Okay, because there are some things that it's just not worth it to me to change. Okay, I'm sure some things are fun and to change all the time, and some things you should change all the time. Underwear, clothes, things like that. Right? But other things, like, yeah, this just doesn't matter much. But as I've been thinking though too about do do why do we change things, or why do I change things? I don't know why you change things, right? So, for example, let's talk about let's talk about my streams because I like to talk about myself, right? Not really, but kind of. So, over on Music Free Gaming, right? I stream Minecraft, and I've been doing a couple of series. One is a solo vanilla world I call Going Solo, wherein I have been transforming an ancient city, trying to lighten it up and make it bright and colorful and cheerful and stuff. Okay? And that has been going slowly. Even more slowly because over the last few months, I haven't wanted to play in that world. I was getting a little bit creatively burned out on it. I love Minecraft. I can go into Minecraft and play, but it it helps if I know what I want to do, right? And there I've been stuck. So I decided that, what I need here is a change of some sort. And so I've started um, a new series that's modded, right? It's modded Minecraft. And one of the reasons I went with a modded Minecraft series instead of like hardcore, which I was also debating, is because I'm playing on the Tinkerworld SMP, and it's that's a vanilla server mostly. Okay. Now, again, the way I tend to play, it tends to be Vanilla Plus because I had some quality of life mods, but it's still basically a vanilla server. And I wanted something that was different. Well, it turns out modded Minecraft is different from vanilla. So, yeah, that that change is kind of exciting. Now, I don't know how long that just excitement of it being a change is going to last, but hey, it's exciting. It's getting I'm sort of, I don't say refreshed, maybe that is the word, right? But it's I've got this thrill sort of because like, all right, not necessarily because I'm starting a new world because early game Minecraft is not my favorite. It's important and it's not horrible and stuff, but I kind of wanted to get through it because I want to do all this stuff with Create Mod because I'm excited about doing all of this automation and stuff with Create Mod, through modded Minecraft. That's exciting. It's going to be fun. And it's a huge change from what I've been doing, which has been vanilla Minecraft mostly. Yes, I do some automation there with Redstone because I like doing that. But just the whole concept, just the way things work is so much different that it's like, yeah, no, it feels so different. And I think that's one of the cool things about change is that even if you're doing something that you've done, changing things up a little bit can be refreshing, right? So let's take another example, slipping out of gaming. We may get back to that, but books, okay, or movies, or all that general entertainment. But let's talk books for a minute, okay? I have a basic genre of kind of, I don't know, let's say a basic genre that I like to read, and I do. I like to read sci-fi and fantasy, okay? Typically something a little bit lighter, with a sense of humor to it, and that type of thing. But sometimes you just need a change. And, that's usually when I reach for some form of nonfiction. Usually it's maybe I'll find a biography, maybe I'll find something on political theory, uh, economics, something like that. Because one, it's interesting, and two, I just need something that isn't wizards and spaceships and all that stuff, right? And it's nice. It's nice to have that change of pace. Right? And what ends up happening is okay, cool. I'll usually read that one book. Sometimes I'll read a couple of them, and then I'm ready to go back and yes, let's go back and enjoy, you know, Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or whatever else I can find at the library or whatever. Change can be really good, and sometimes it helps you appreciate where you've been, and sometimes to go back, but sometimes like I liked that. That was good. Okay, but this is better, right? And sometimes I get that way, like with food. Sometimes, right? You ever have a recipe like this is your favorite recipe? You make it all the time. This is wonderful, and then you, out of wild blue, change something, and it's like, huh, this is actually pretty good. I like this. I might do this more, right? Now, I made a change a while back out of necessity. I was making pasta bake. It was like penne pasta and spaghetti sauce and ground beef and cheese and stuff, and then you bake it and it's delicious. Well, I needed mozzarella cheese, which it turns out I did not have. And since I had literally just run to the store and come back to get Parmesan, which I hadn't realized we were out of, I was not in the mood to go back to the store and buy mozzarella. But we had pepper jack. Now, pepper jack, it's Monterey Jack cheese with spicy peppers in it, jalapenos typically, I think. So I said, all right, we're using pepper jack today. Now, it was good. Now, I'm not going to say that I would necessarily make that change all the time, but it was a nice change in flavor that says, you know what? This is really there's something here. Something about this I'm kind of digging, right? Another example, we've made chili. Right, we'll make a big crock pot full of chili from time to time, and I love chili. And we've been using this one recipe we've had forever, partly because it's amazing. Well, we decided one day that instead of using all chili beans for it, we'd swap out half the chili beans for kidney beans. And it improved the chili. Right? So it's one of those things that, you know what? Sometimes making changes is scary, and sometimes it's really easy, and sometimes the results are delicious. And sometimes not so much. But just that process of experimenting sometimes will help you realize that, oh yeah, this is amazing and I should do more of these types of things. Like, yeah, maybe throwing some crushed red pepper into my spaghetti sauce is a delicious thing. But other times, like, yeah, tried that. And no, this is not where we're going with this, right? But I think one of the dangers you run into is if you don't change, you end up sort of stagnating. And that can be a little bit of an issue because you're not really exposing yourself to anything new, right? It's like if all you do is watch the same sitcom and only that sitcom all the time, you never get exposed to new ideas, to other things that are funny, just new genres of things, right? And it can sort of leave you kind of missing out on some really amazing things, right? So again, I like sci-fi fantasy, I like comedies, I like action movies, right? If I can get a good action comedy, that's amazing. It's one of the reasons I like the Marvel movies as much as I do. Star Wars ranks high because it tends to fall into that sort of action comedy genre. Now, I tend to like just about anything Star Wars, but I wasn't a huge fan of Andor. Well, I could appreciate this is amazing. This is an amazing show from a bunch of technical things, right? It just didn't. It didn't really speak to me because it wasn't fun, right? It didn't have that sense of whimsy that is pervasive in Star Wars. I think that was one of the things missing from the Acolyte as well. I liked the Acolyte, but outside of Chimere, there wasn't a lot of there wasn't a lot of there wasn't a sense of fun anywhere. Okay, and I think that is sort of essential. I think it's baked into the Star Wars DNA, right? Because you look at the original trilogy of Star Wars, and there are jokes littered throughout those movies. They're not comedies necessarily, but they are quippy, right? There are some fun moments of humor in all of those movies. I heard argued once that Empire Strikes Back, for as dark as it is also one of the funniest Star Wars movies because there of a lot of there's a lot of the interplay between Luke and Leia. Yoda is just a fun character, right? But here's the thing. The reason I was going this way is I almost forgot because, that happens to me a lot. Is sometimes it's nice to see something new, right? I'm not a huge fan of dramas necessarily, right? But every once in a while I do like to watch them. But I remember, and I've talked about this on the the show before. I think I even did a really late movie review of the movie Moonrise Kingdom. It's a Wes Anderson film, which some of you know all about Wes Anderson films and are right there with me here. But I turned on this movie, not intentionally. I was sitting in a hotel room and flipping channels because I was just looking for something. And I managed to catch this movie about, it was probably a quarter of the way in. And it's like, oh, well, this is weird. I'm going to watch this. And ended up watching a really fun movie. Okay? It's a tremendous movie. It was so totally different from anything I really watched before. Because Wes Anderson is just one of those types of directors. And now that's one of my favorite movies. Okay? Certainly in the top 10 of movies that I just really enjoy. Yeah, so, yeah, sometimes you just need to branch out from what you're doing and go explore something new. I'm not going to say it's always easy. I'm not going to say the results are always amazing. But as I think it was Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you don't try things, you'll never know. And yeah, you may try something and fail. It happens, okay? If first you don't succeed, skydiving is not for you. Okay? Uh, sorry. I'm tired and I'm punchy, and that joke hit me a little too hard. Okay, but no, but yeah, some things you'll try. It's like, okay, yeah, no, not for me. It was fun to do once, but I don't think I'm going to go do that again. And that's okay. Maybe decide to go ice skating or try skiing or some other winter sport that winter is coming here in the northern latitudes. Winter sports also, right? But maybe you want to try something like that, or maybe hiking, right? Or maybe a different genre of video game, right? To bring this back around, right? Because I tend to get stuck into kind of ruts, I suppose. There's those things I like, and I just tend to stick with those things that I like. For the longest time, just about the only video games I really played was some form of football. Okay. Whether it was front page sports football way back in the day, to eventually Madden because that was all that was left. Yeah, that's just what I would play. I would come home and because I liked when I was growing up, I liked playing Doom. I liked playing Dark Forces, which was a Star Wars first person shooter. That was really fun. I liked playing those, but I now had little kids. I didn't quite feel comfortable playing those shooters around my toddlers. So I pretty much focused on racing games um, and football. So yeah, I'd come home from work and we'd have dinner and I'd sit down and I'd play a couple of games of Madden. But that part of that was my way of de-stressing and stuff, but I wasn't really branching out into other things, right? And it was tough for a while because one, my computer couldn't handle anything, so I was playing console, but I also couldn't afford to go out and buy a lot of games, so I didn't. Right? Wasn't until my kids were a bit older and I was making a little bit more that, I went out and got it's like Need for Speed. Man, I played the heck out of Need for Speed Most Wanted, man. That was fun. And the nice thing about that is I could focus on the racing. Yes, it was technically centered around street racing and stuff, but most of that most of that story just didn't matter that much. I was having fun with the racing because I like racing games. And I cheated out that game so hard, right? I rebooted that thing anytime I got caught. Anytime the cops caught me. Ooh, gee, I wonder how that happened. Yep, no, I just reset the PlayStation before it auto-saved, and boom, we're back at it. Right? So I was so bad. But it was it was fun, but it was also fun, stepping out into things like Kingdom Hearts, right? Man, Kingdom Hearts 1 was amazing. So was Kingdom Hearts 2 for that matter. Those games were so much fun, and the story was great. Kingdom Hearts 3 was fun. Having not seen anything except Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, I was completely lost when it came to the story, but it was still a fun game to play, right? And I think sometimes it's really nice to branch out, right? I had a lot of fun too playing, what was it, Final Fantasy X. It had been a long time since I've played a JRPG at all. And I think the last one I played was probably Chrono Trigger. Yeah, because I hadn't played any of the Zelda games either. So it was, and it was great. It's been a really long time since I played a turn-based RPG like that, and I had so much fun. The story, especially, was amazing. I said, "Okay, cool. I like this. Let's play Final Fantasy X-2." Didn't like it. Um, the style of the gameplay changed, and I didn't like the change. Final Fantasy 12, same thing. Different combat system that I did not enjoy. Even though I was liking the story, but it was such a grind. Aside from the fact that Final Fantasy games tend to be grindy, I just I couldn't get past the gameplay enough to really enjoy the story, so I stopped. But but I know that it's like, I like a couple of these different things, right, about these different games, and knowing that helps me pick. All right, yes, if you want to look at it from a change perspective, I'm not necessarily changing by going turn-based or full action like Kingdom Hearts, but I don't like the hybrid type things that was in those two games. So yeah, knowing that is a good thing though. And it's one of those things too. When I was in school, I learned programming because I was a computer science major, mathematics, emphasis in computer science. And I did a lot of programming in languages like C++, Java, Perl. I was writing in for work. But then I took a languages class, and we learned a bunch of different programming languages. We talked about SQL. We looked at Prolog and Lisp and Scheme and I don't know, a bunch of other things, right? And it was interesting. Lisp is a much different programming language from C++ or Java, JavaScript, that type of thing. Okay. It's what they call a functional language, where everything is written, you do everything as functions. Okay. Now, you don't have to worry so much about the technical side of things, but there's a way that functional languages work that can be really cool. What was fun is when I went back to writing Perl for work, which is not a functional language in any way, it has some components that allow you to work or use some of those features of functional languages that are very helpful. And I became a better programmer because I tried a different language. That is sometimes the power of change, is sometimes just trying something new, even if you don't really stay with it. And I do still program in Lisp on occasion, but just having been exposed to that way of doing things, I became a better programmer back in the language I was writing in and then I preferred to write in. So yeah, change can help you grow. Change, experimentation, all that stuff can help you be better, even at the things that you were at in the first place. And I like it. I like it. So we're gonna go ahead and call it here. Thank you so much. Let me know what changes did you make that really improved your life, or just made you appreciate what you were doing more. Let me know. Drop a comment or chat in the Discord. And until next time, this is Music Free Static signing off.